Hey friends, in today's video we're going to take this junk mail envelope and make it into a really fun gift envelope. Alright, so what you're going to need is an old envelope, some scrap cardstock, a glue stick, a pair of scissors, and your handy dandy cutter. And if you don't have one of these, you can always use just a razor blade or just eye it and use some scissors. All right, so this is the first part of this video, and we're going to construct the envelope. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this envelope right along this edge. And what we want to make sure we do is keep this little see-through window. So I'm going to take my cutter, I'm going to put it right along here. See how I'm going to cut just below this. Line that up like that. And this is what you're left with. Okay, now the other thing we're going to do is we're going to fold this just down to that window. And you can use a bone cutter, you can use whatever you want to make sure that's a nice straight fold. Okay, so we have our flap, but we need the opening right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut just a really small sliver off the top. And now I have my opening for my flap. So one thing we're going to want to do is cover the inside of this window. I'm going to take my scrap paper and I'm going to line it up like this, and I'm going to cut just a tiny bit. Let me zoom in here for you. A tiny bit from each edge. Here's what I'll do. Let's cut this so that when I put it in here, it covers all of it really nicely, and you have a little bit of overlap. And I'm going to take my glue stick and I'm going to put a bunch of glue on the back of it. This is a lot easier to do when this is open. I'm just going to lay it in there, smooth it down. And now, of course, we don't want just plain white in this opening, right? Oh, no, no, no. We are going to measure this and cut right along here, so that I will glue that there, and then I'll take this one and I'm going to glue it to the other side. Okay, now this is a little bit long, so I'm going to trim this just a tiny bit. Let's do a tiny bit more. Of course, you can measure it. That always helps. But why measure when you can just keep cutting, right? Okay, so I'm going to glue this one in here. I'm going to turn it over. I'm going to glue this one right on that side. So now we have, this is all covered on the inside. And you can run a glue stick down here because we're going to run it all the way up the side. What you will need to do if you do that is to do the glue stick probably about that wide, and then put some clips on it to make it hold, and then let it dry. Otherwise, every time you fiddle with it, it's going to open up. But what I'm going to use is my art glitter, just because it can run a really thin line and it dries really fast and is super sturdy, so that'll hold. All right, I'm going to let that dry for just a minute and we'll come back and do the next part. Now for the fun part. What we're going to do is we're going to paint the background of this yellow, and I just took some Americana paint, craft paint in saffron yellow, so it's not super bright. I like it because it kind of reminds me of a sunflower yellow, and because we do not want these blue parts showing up, so it's kind of nice. I don't have any on the back. I'm going to go over this with some Artist Loft. It's a soft body white paint. Now, you could use this. You could use gesso if you have that instead, just plain white gesso. But what I'm going to do is go over it like this. So what I'm doing is I am not pressing really hard, because if you press hard, then you're going to be able to see it. So what I'm doing is I'm getting some paint on there and very lightly, I mean like feather light, going over this so that it will cover. Okay, I'm going to do a little bit more over here. Super light, super light. Like I can see a little bit here, so I'm going to go this direction. Okay. All right, now I'm going to go dry that really well. I'll be right back. All right, I have a confession for you. This paper looks a little bit different because when I went to film how to paint this part, I ran my paint over the plastic and I thought, I'd just wipe it off, right? Which I've done in the past, but I put way too much paint on there, and when I went to wipe it, it wouldn't come off. So then I tried to scrub it, and you scrub this right off. So let's try this again. And I'm going to try and not have a large bead of paint right here. So what I'm going to do, instead of slapping it on like I usually do, I'm just going to do this and bring that paint out. There we go. Oh, that's such a fun fall color. Okay, bring it all up here. Do the same thing right here. And take just the edge of my brush and go right up to that window and then pull it out. Okay, so this side, this is where I kind of got myself in trouble, so I'm going to put some paint in here. and just put a little bit on the edge. And again, just go right around there and pull it out. A little bit more on my brush. There we go. I'm going to turn it. That was my other mistake. I didn't turn it. And I'm going to go around here. But here's the deal. We always learn from our mistakes. Now, if you do get just a tiny bit on there, just wipe it off with a paper towel. It'll come right off. But like I said, I had a big bead of paint on there and it stained it. Okay. Phew! Yay. All right, I'm gonna let that dry and then I'll flip it over and I'll paint the whole back side of that. All right, are we ready to finish this up? I'm gonna show you how we do these fun leaves. So I took these stencil sheets. Oh, that was good. Yeah, stencil sheets. And I put it on a mat so I could see what I was doing. And I just free-handed and cut out some little leaf shapes. Now I added this tape because when I put it down, I can't see it if I haven't painted on it. So this is how I can find my stencil. So I just free-handed some little stencils. It is, how big did I make this? Ah, a 4x4. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is I have some red and some copper paint in here, and I'm gonna take a second brush that is dry, and I'm gonna open this up and lay my stencil on here, and I'm gonna take just the littlest bit of copper paint. Do you see that? That's like hardly anything. And I'm going to hold this down and dab it in straight up. And then I'll do this one now. And then I'm going to move my hand and hold it over here. And I'm going to move my hand and hold it top and bottom here. Okay, did that. Now, I'm going to come in here and literally add just, can you see that? Just a tiniest bit of red paint. And dab that in there. Let me show you how I do that. Just on the corner. And I'm going to move my hand again. Move my hand. Take a little bit more red paint. Pick that up. Move my hand. So this is a little bit bigger, so I'm going to add one more little corner. And because it's on the corner, I will dab it on there and then turn my brush. Okay, and then when you lift that up, you have your leaves. And then I will just continue. I'm not going to wash out my brush. I just added a little bit more copper to that one and it still had some red on there. I'm going to move it, put it here and just use whatever paint I have left on my brush. And if it looks like it's not going anywhere, I'll just add a teeny tiny bit more. Let's put one here. All right, so I need just a little bit more copper. Now you can, let's see what happens. I'm gonna add some of that yellow. It kind of gets lost in there, so I'm gonna go back and add the red. Put another one here. And because this is my flap, I'm just going to add a big one here. Just add a little bit of red. And like I said, this is just the tiniest amounts of paint on here. And there you have it. So now, so it's pretty dry. I'm gonna cover this surface and turn it over. And then of course we have to add some to the back, right? Now this is my flap. I am not gonna add anything here because I will show you why in just a hot minute. I'm gonna move my fingers, get a little more paint. That one kind of had a lot, so it might be a little bit messy, but I have one more step on this that we're gonna do to kind of finish off these leaves that I really, really, really like. Add some more red into that one. What I have here is a Sharpie S gel. I got it on Amazon. I will link these. It's a 0.7 nib on there. Okay, so I am just going to add a little definition to my leaves. I like to make it a little more free-flowing and scratchy kind of look. Feel free to outline them if you like the solid look like this. You can do that. I just try and use a really light touch when I do this. And I'm going to do the back. Right, so to finish this, do you remember the snippets I did? Well. We have a fun use for these snippets. We are going to put one right on this flap. And I think because this one matches to this paper, oh yeah, we're going to use this one. But first what I'll do is take that off because it's attached to that. And what I'll do is cut it. And this will be a really good size for that so that it's not too wide. And then I'll save my snippets for something else. Then I'm going to, let's see, if I glue that here, I think I'll do my little snippet pin in here, this little bulb pin. Oh my gosh, yes, I love it. Now you can, like I said, you can use a glue stick on this, but I'm going to use my art glitter glue just because it has a little more hold. And yes, I am impatient for things to hold. And I'm just gonna set this right here. Press on that a little bit. Put my needle inside my art glitter glue because it dries up very quickly. Oh, you guys, look. Oh, he's so cute. So now you have the cutest little envelope to put something inside for a friend. You can put a little gift card in here. You can put in a note. You can just put a little message that you're caring about someone, thinking about them. You can easily slide something in, have it show right here. It's just a lot of fun. So, phew, thank you for joining me through this learning process. I had a lot of fun. I hope you like and subscribe to this video, and I will be back next week with more fun.